Minister of Health, Sheikh Dr. Basil Sabah, announced the recovery of more people from COVID-19. The minister said analysis, medical examinations, and tests proved that these cases were cured of the coronavirus. The minister said that the recovered will be shifted to the hospital recuperation ward pending their discharge from the hospital over the next 2 days. The Sultanate of Oman announced on Wednesday 106 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the total to 1,614, the country's overall infections, including 8 fatalities. The newly diagnosed cases are 35 Omanis and 71 foreigners, the health ministry added in an update without giving a breakdown of their nationalities. According to news reports, the ministry added the overall number of recovered coronavirus patients in Oman stands at 238. A Palestinian refugee camp in Lebanon has been put on lockdown after the UN announced the first confirmed case of coronavirus in one of the country's numerous and crowded camps. The UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, said in a statement, the patient, a Palestinian refugee from Syria, has been taken to the state-run Rafik Hariri Hospital in Beirut. Medical experts were due to visit the Weibel camp in the eastern Bekaa Valley later on Wednesday to carry out tests. Lebanese news reports said the testing will focus on the woman's relatives and people that she has interacted with, as well as 50 others chosen arbitrarily inside the camp and its surroundings. A local official said Wednesday authorities in Greece have locked down a migrant hotel in the Peloponnese where 150 people have tested positive for COVID-19. The deputy mayor of the town of Erminioulia, some 166 kilometers southwest of Athens, told State TV that 150 of the 470 asylum seekers staying at the hotel had tested positive. He added that there was tight security at the scene. Deputy Minister for Civil Protection played down the threat to the wider population. The Russian Coronavirus Crisis Response Center said on Wednesday Russia recorded 5,236 new coronavirus cases in the last 24 hours, bringing its nationwide tally to 57,999. It said 57 people with the virus died in the last 24 hours, pushing the death toll to 513. After originating in China last December, COVID-19 has spread to at least 185 countries and regions across Europe, and the US are currently the worst hit regions. Indonesia is looking to review its large-scale social restrictions, as many are not adhering to social distancing rules at work to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Media reports said that many non-essential workplaces were ignoring the restriction rules and that people were still required to go to work despite calls for social distancing for the move to be effective. There are 2 provinces and 16 municipalities and regencies whose requests to impose a partial lockdown have been approved by the health minister as part of efforts to break the chain of transmission of the disease. Local authorities said on Wednesday at least 34 crew members aboard a cruise ship docked in the Japanese city of Nagasaki have tested positive for coronavirus. The Costa Atlantica first arrived in Nagasaki in January to undergo repairs with several hundred crew on board. Over the weekend, the ship's operator contacted local authorities seeking help to test suspected cases on board. An initial 4 tests carried out on the ship revealed the first infection on Monday, with additional testing among 57 crew, finding a total of 34 cases by Wednesday. The director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention warned on Wednesday second wave of the coronavirus is expected to hit the United States next winter and could strike much harder than the first because it would likely arrive at the start of influenza season. CDC Director Robert Redfield said there is a possibility that the assault of the virus on the nation next winter will actually be even more difficult than the one just witnessed. as the current outbreak continues to taper off, as shown by a recent decline in hospitalization rates and other indicators. Authorities need to prepare for a probable resurgence in the months ahead. The coronavirus pandemic could nearly double the number of people around the world facing acute hunger, the UN's World Food Programme or WFP said Wednesday, its director warning of a looming global humanitarian catastrophe. David Beasley, the WFP's executive director, told the UN Security Council in a video conference the world is on the brink of a hunger pandemic. The warning came as the WFP and other partners released a new report on food crisis around the world that predicted an explosive growth in the number of people threatened with acute food insecurity. Prime Minister Boris Johnson's COVID-19 strategy faces its first major political test since the UK was put on lockdown a month ago when members of parliament questioned ministers in a sitting conducted via video conference. The Prime Minister remains out of action, recovering from his own severe case of COVID-19, and will not be in the House of Commons to answer questions when Parliament resumes its scrutiny of the government's plans on Wednesday. In his place will be Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab, facing opposition Labour Party leader Keir Starmer. One key issue ministers will be pressed on is the shortages of personal protective equipment for health workers. Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard said Wednesday that it launched a military satellite into orbit amid wider tensions with the United States, a successful launch after months of failures. There was no immediate independent confirmation of the launch of the satellite, which the Guard called Noor, or Light. The U.S. State Department and the Pentagon, which say that such launches advance Iran's ballistic missile program, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. On its official website, the Guard said the satellite successfully reached an orbit of 425 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The two-stage satellite launch took off from Iran's central desert, the Guard said, without elaborating. Canadian police on Wednesday raised the death toll from a weekend mass shooting in Nova Scotia province from 18 to 23, saying remains were discovered and burned 8 homes and vehicles. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police said in a statement, it's believed that there to be 23 victims, including a 17-year-old. All other victims are adults, both men and women. Police said remains from some of the locations of the fires have been recovered, noting that at least 5 homes and buildings, as well as vehicles, had been lit on fire by the gunmen. U.S. benchmark crude was trading as low as $6.50 a barrel Tuesday, more than 80% lower than the start of the year. The desiring drop reflected stark suffering in the global economy that has left vastly diminished demand for oil. There is little mystery around the sharp drop-off. Efforts to limit the spread of the coronavirus have major cities around the world on lockdown. Air travel has been seriously curtailed, and millions of people are working from home, leading to far fewer commuters on the roads. But pumps are still running, extracting oil from the ground, and all that oil has to go somewhere. Some brokers were betting that storage would be more valuable than oil next month, leading some on Monday to pay potential buyers to take oil off their hands. Barcelona will sell the title rights to its storage stadium for 1 year in an effort to raise money for the fight against the coronavirus. The Spanish club's executive board said Wednesday it will donate the entire fee raised by selling the title rights to the Camp Nou to fighting the global pandemic. The Camp Nou is the biggest stadium in Europe with more than 99,000 seats. It has never had a sponsor since it opened in 1957.